In this bulletin, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese speaks with the United Kingdom's PM Boris Johnson ahead of the Quad meeting in Tokyo. A Ukrainian court sentences a Russian soldier to life in prison for war crimes. And in sport, world number one Iga Swiatek is through to the second round of the French Open. All the latest from the SBS newsroom, I'm Brooke Young. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has spoken to the United Kingdom's leader Boris Johnson during a flight to Tokyo for the Quad meeting. According to an Australian briefing on the 25-minute phone call, the leaders had frank and very positive discussions, with the main topics being the AUKUS Pact and climate change. Today, Mr Albanese will participate in the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue in Tokyo with the United States President Joe Biden, Japanese PM Fumio Kishida, and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The talks are expected to include diplomatic discussions on stability in the Indo-Pacific in the face of China's territorial aggression, the Solomon Islands Security Pact with Beijing, and climate policy. The Australian Electoral Commission still has the Labor Party leading on 75 seats in the federal election, meaning Prime Minister Anthony Albanese could likely lead a majority government. Just 76 seats are needed to win. The Liberal National Coalition leads the vote count on 55 seats, while the Independents have 10 and the Greens are on 2. The Centre Alliance and Katter's Australian Party have 1 seat each. The former Defence Minister Peter Dutton is looking like the frontrunner to become the new leader of the Liberal Party after former Treasurer Josh Frydenberg conceded defeat in the seat of Kooyong. Liberal MP Alan Tudge says Mr Dutton would be an incredibly effective leader who represents the party's values. But Karen Andrews, who served as Home Affairs Minister under Scott Morrison, has spoken to Sky News and hinted that she could go for a top spot.
I'm interested in what role will allow me to add the most value to my party and the members of my party as well. So I'm going to consider my position over the next day or so.
There are reports that a woman could become the Liberals' deputy leader, with former Environment Minister Susan Lee, former Attorney General Michaelia Cash, and Senator Jane Hume as possible options. Independent MP for the southwestern Sydney seat of Fowler, Di Lee, says she hopes that her election to Parliament encourages people of diverse backgrounds to enter politics. Miss Lee is not the only Asian Australian heading to Canberra for the first time. She's joined by Labor MP for Reid, Sally Situ, who has Chinese heritage, and Malaysian-born former police officer and dolphin trainer Sam Lim for Western Australian electorate Tangney. Miss Lee says voters want their MPs to reflect the communities that they represent.
At the polling booths, people have said to me from all walks of life and from all cultures have said to me, you're one of us, you're part of the community, we're backing you. So that was very heartwarming for me, that yes, I am of Vietnamese heritage and a refugee, but a lot of people can relate to me and they know that I can relate to their journeys and their stories.
A Ukrainian court has sentenced a 21-year-old Russian soldier to life in prison for killing a Ukrainian civilian. It's the first war crimes trial since Russia invaded Ukraine in February. Russian Vadim Shishimarin was accused of shooting 62-year-old Ukrainian civilian Alexander Shelipov in the head at a village in the northeastern Sumy region in the early days of the war. Shishimarin has pled guilty and testified that he shot the man after being ordered to do so. The judge has handed down the life sentence.
Based on the above, the court ruled that Vadim Yevgenievich Shishimarin, born on the 17th of October 2000, was found guilty of committing a criminal offence under Part 2 of Article 438 of the Criminal Code of Ukraine, and to appoint his punishment to life imprisonment.
China's foreign ministry has opposed United States President Joe Biden's comments about being willing to defend Taiwan militarily if China invaded. Mr. Biden was speaking in Japan and compared the China-Taiwan situation to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. He says China is already flirting with danger amid reports of Chinese warplanes flying into Taiwan's self-declared air defense zone. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbing says Taiwan is part of Chinese territory and has warned Mr Biden about his language.
We urge the US side to effectively adhere to the One China principle and the provisions of the 3 US-China joint communiques, abide by the important commitments to not supporting Taiwan independence, be cautious with its words and actions on the Taiwan issue, and not send any wrong signals to the separatist forces of Taiwan independence, so as to avoid serious damage to the situation in the Taiwan Strait and China-US relations.
And in sport, for tennis, world number 1 Iga Swiatek has beat Ukrainian Lesia Serenko 6-2, 6-love in the first round of the French Open Roland Garros. The Polish player says she loves competing in the Paris tournament, despite the cloudy skies and rain over the past few days. Meanwhile, Japanese player and 4-time Grand Slam singles champion Naomi Osaka is out of the Open after losing to United States player Amanda Anisimova 5-7, 4-6. And 2-time Wimbledon champ and Czech player Petra Kvitova beat Hungarian Anna Bonda 7-6, 6-1 and will now play Australia's Daria Saville in the second round. And now for a look at today's weather. In Perth, there's showers easing and windy, 21 degrees. In Adelaide, it's becoming cloudy and 22. In Melbourne, it's sunny and 19 degrees. Mostly sunny also in Hobart and 14. In Canberra, partly cloudy and tops of 17 degrees. In Wollongong, there's showers and 19. Similar conditions over in Sydney, it's tops of 20. In Newcastle, there's showers and 21 degrees. In Brisbane, also showers, 22. In Cairns, a possible shower and 28. And in Darwin, it's sunny and 34 degrees. That's the latest from the SBS Newsroom. I'm Brooke Young.